If you are a regular viewer on the channel, you already know this car. And if not, welcome, my name is Sven and this is my first ever car, my VW Golf 5 1.4 liter from the year 2005 with 75 horsepower. But I've done already quite a lot with this car. See, I've driven with this car to 15 different countries and counting. I want to do a lot more with this car. I've driven with this car in my biggest project to date, Cardinal Scandinavia, to the North Cape, and I've done quite a lot with it. See, I've driven with this car 60,000 kilometers and counting so far, and I will never sell it. But I'm a bit of a caveat, because I actually don't want to change anything with the car, just subtle things, basically OEM plus the car, but not so much modifying the car. And that's why I'm actually doing this video, because I'm currently on a search for a second car for this YouTube channel. And yeah, I want obviously something which is fun, which you can modify, which is basically a plain side or plain canvas where you can actually build up on. And that's why I'm having this car, because I want to change a few things with this car, give it in some years maybe a restoration, because this car has a few war wounds. As you can see, this car is very dirty, and this car has a few war wounds on the wheels, across the front, all the stone chips, etc. But I want to have this car basically as my main road trip car for as long as I haven't finished the driving to every single country in the European Union series, which we are still, we are now away maybe 40-50% through the series. But as you can see, this car is in quite a state, and I will only do a restoration with it once I'm actually done with all the trips I want to do with it. And yeah, this is basically a video where I'm talking about that I'm searching for another car, a plain canvas to build up on. So this car has actually no more daily driver duties, because as I already said, I want to keep this car as my road trip car. And yeah, that's why I'm currently searching for another car, a blank canvas to build up on. And I want to discuss, maybe a few options or maybe a few cars I have on my mind. Alright, let's go for a little drive. It is very toasty right now in Germany, which is, yes, I need to go to the service. But this car was an absolute trooper. The basically 4 years I've owned it to date. But I want to discuss a few options for next cars, because I really fell in love with a few cars recently, and I am now in a position where I can actually afford to keep a second car alongside this car, so this car won't have daily driver duties anymore. But I have a budget of around 5,000 euros, which is like 4,000-ish pounds, and yeah, which can get you actually quite a long way if you do it right. See, I have a 5,000 euro car buying budget, which is in general actually, if you think about it, in the in this time, not very much, but if you do it right, you can get quite a long way. See, 5,000 euros. I already had a few options, just like Mazda MX-5 Miatas or some other cars. And the only thing I want to do is to evolve this YouTube channel to another level, given I've actually done YouTube now for around 1.5 years-ish thereabouts. And the YouTube channel was mainly run, 95% of the videos were done with this car, my VW Golf 5. And only my VW Golf 5. We had a few other cars on the channel as well, but just only, let's say, review visitor cars, just like the Mark 7 GTI or the Mark 6. I've done a review on this, the VW T5 camper van, the T4, the VW Corrado, and the VW 318i. So I had a few, road trips. I shot a few videos with this, but still around 90-95% of the videos on the channel were filmed with this car in some way. Obviously the road trips I did with this car, and also, the normal no talking POV style videos I've done with this car. And yeah, that's why I'm currently on a search for a new car, and this is a video for basically launching, let's say, the period where I'm searching for a new car. I want preferably a new car before the end of the year. I mean, it's now September, and so we have still quite a few months left. But yeah, as I already said, I want something which is a blank canvas where we can build up on, because as I already said, I want to do subtle changes to this car, just for example a new steering wheel or headlights, etc, 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 but not so obvious changes like a new wrap. That's why I want to have another car which I can build up on, which will be a project car on the one hand, and also my daily driver on the other hand, because as I already said in the first clip of this video, I have this car already now for 4 years. I want to do still quite a lot of road trips with this car, and I actually don't want to use this car as my daily driver, because my fear is when I use this car as my daily driver, something will go wrong eventually, because I've driven 60,000 kilometers with this car, nothing has gone wrong, and God forbid, nothing will go wrong in the future as well. But I would be so much more disappointed if something goes wrong with this car instead of with the other car, which I could have used instead. So yeah, because this car is my first car and I have such a big bond with it. I'm a car guy at heart, that's why I don't want to sell this car, and I just don't want to risk anything with this car, which is a bit counterintuitive given I've want to do a lot of road trips with this car where I drive arguably in a very, very short time, a lot of kilometers. But yes, first off, this road where I'm currently driving on is absolutely beautiful. I've shot a few videos on this road already, and yeah, I want a car where I can build something up on, because this car drives great, this car is reliable as hell, and basically has next to no flaws, which is just absolutely insane given the car has 213,000 kilometers on the clock. Obviously I can list now a few options that I had on my mind already for a 5,000 euro buying budget. For example, a BMW E46, some sort of variant of E46 or E36, etc. Because after I've done the review of the 318i Cabriolet, which was absolutely gorgeous, this car, and I want to drive it at some point again, but it was really an eye-opener because the car drove so fine. Yes, obviously this car was in a very, very great state. The owner of the car has kept it very well, but I wanted to, it opened my eyes in terms of BMWs like E36 or E46, and it opened my eyes for potential roadsters just like a Mazda MX-5 NA or NB, because you can get already really good examples for under 5 grand basically. Other options were obviously the first gen Audi TT and just in general other cars. But I want cars which are preferably white or black, or are not wrapped, or they need to have a plain color or a dark color, so you can actually wrap them quite easily. For example, this gray one, you can wrap gray cars quite easily. Preferably black cars are obviously better, but I want cars where you can actually work on, where you can do modifications. Every modification I want to do needs obviously have TÜV, because at the end of the day I'm filming videos on the internet. At the end of the day I want to do it right. I want to do it street legal, which is the most important thing. And yeah, the most important thing is actually keeping this car as my road trip car, at least for the time being. Now what I will do with it after I've done every road trip, after I visited every country in the European Union with it, I don't know. Obviously I've done quite a lot with this car already. As I already said, I've driven to 15 countries and counting with this car, 60,000 kilometers, and yeah, I've done overall quite a lot with it. That's why I actually want to, and already said that in the beginning of the video, I want to have this car as a road trip car. And as I already said, you know, I just listed a few cars that I potentially want to buy for this YouTube channel, just like E46, E36, or you know, Mazda MX-5 Miata. And yeah, this is basically a video where I talk about, or where I announced that I am actively searching for new cars for this YouTube channel, and potentially as my daily driver as well. And yeah, this was quite a short video, but a very interesting video, because I actually want to buy a second, potentially a third car for this YouTube channel. So the YouTube channel isn't run basically 95% of the time with this car. You know, don't get me wrong, until I'm not finished with driving to every single country in the European Union with this car will still appear a lot on the YouTube channel. But I want to have it a little bit, you know, diverse, given, you know, it's YouTube and you need to do something different, and I want to have diversity on this YouTube channel, you know, in terms of cars, because yeah, I just like cars. I like accumulating stuff. I like cars. And what better way to start, let's say, a car collection? But yes, for the time being, I am actually still remaining with this car, given I haven't yet found a second car for me for this YouTube channel. And this video is actually a little bit inside right here. If you still watch this video, the video you will see in 16 days is actually the start of the next road trip with this car, which will be very, very, very exciting. And if you've watched the Ireland road trip, you know that we've basically covered every single country in the north of Europe with this car, excluding Iceland, of course. So maybe drop a comment under this video, and maybe take a guess in the comments, where do you think I'm driving next with this car, and what car I should consider on a 5,000 euro budget for this YouTube channel. But you have to remember, preferably in a darker color so you can actually wrap it. A car which is basically a blank canvas so you can work up on it, and yeah, cars that are genuinely exciting on a 5,000 euro budget. And yes, I hope you like this little information video about that I'm actually actively searching for a new car, and that I actually never will sell this car. And yeah, I hope I see you next one. Alright, leave a like and hit the subscribe button, and I hope I see you next one. Alright, peace!